I have to admit, I think I like Jared Leto's Joker better. Let me explain. Welcome to the objective review of Joker. And in objective review, I break a movie down into 6 categories and assign weights to them, depending on the genre, to have the most honest, unbiased, objective review as possible. But before I get into that, I'm going to get into my subjective opinions about the film. Now, as a Joker fan, I didn't necessarily love this film because I don't feel like he is the Joker. He doesn't feel like the Joker. He's not that wacky, he's not that unpredictable, he's not that zany, he's not really all that comedic. I mean, the Joker that I really love, he's the type of person that if you cross him, you might either get cut with a knife or hit in the head with the baloney. But here, he doesn't feel like that force of nature that the Joker feels like in all the other incarnations. Alright, let's get into the objective review, starting with the first category of story.
Are you having any negative thoughts? All I have are negative thoughts.
Don't expect the story to be a typical superhero film because it is not that by any means. And in the story, it is the origin of the Joker. He is a wannabe comedian. He is living with his mom. He's just living a very crappy life. No one cares about him. No one looks at him. No one pays him any attention. And he thrives for that. One of the interesting things with the story, with getting inside the head of the Joker, is that he does what a lot of people I think often do, is that they imagine the best case scenario of a situation and it just kind of escalates to a certain point that's beyond belief. And he does that time and time again, only to be met with the complete opposite in his life, and that causes him to go down the path that is, of course, him becoming the Joker. This movie does have some great dialogue in it that you think would come straight out of a comic book. Just some really great writing. Some things I didn't like about the story is that because this is from the perspective of the Joker and because he is the protagonist, there's really no one to root for in this film. They didn't situate the story to a point where you want the Joker to win. This is a problem I have with other stories where the main protagonist is not necessarily a good guy. Like, for instance, Breaking Bad. Like, when I watch that, I'm not invested in the story because I'm not invested in any character. I really don't care what happens to Walter White because he's a terrible human being. I really don't care what happens to the Joker. So when that happens to me, it just brings the stakes down in the movie. So story for me gets a 7.5 out of 10. Next is on to emotion.
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed. But I do.
Like I said before, I wasn't invested in the story, and because of that, I don't get emotionally invested in the character. So the emotion gets a 7.5 out of 10. Next is on to action.
You just ask the same questions every week. How's your job?
It's possibly a little bit more action in this film than you would have expected. Not that much, not your typical superhero flair, but the action feels real. As you can see in the trailers, the Joker gets into several altercations, and you feel like someone actually beat up Joaquin Phoenix on set. He's so mad that he probably actually did have someone beat him up. So action gets a 7 out of 10. Next is on to comedy.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
You can say that again, pal.
For a movie that had a lot of jokes in it, I only chuckled once throughout the film, but that is purposely done. The Joker tells jokes that aren't necessarily funny. He tells jokes that are dark. Like, it was really weird being in the theater because sometimes when the Joker laughed, like, people in the audience would laugh. And, you know, I'm thinking to myself, this is not supposed to be comedic. Like, this is a different take on the Joker. So comedy gets a 7 out of 10. That's on to acting.
For my whole life, I didn't know if I even really existed.
Everyone in this film does a good job, except for Joaquin Phoenix, who does an amazing job. His unique portrayal of the Joker as this downtrodden individual who is slowly becoming this sort of different person and sort of maniac is breathtaking, is mesmerizing. It's every freaking adjective you could describe to an amazing talent that Joaquin Phoenix is. While before that I said I prefer Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad to Joaquin Phoenix's, it doesn't mean that I think he performed the role better. I absolutely don't think that because Joaquin Phoenix does an amazing job here. I mean, yes, Heath Ledger's Joker is, without a doubt, always at the top. not counting Mark Hamill's Joker. And also I feel like that Joker is more of the Joker, but this is an Oscar caliber performance. Joaquin Phoenix absolutely holds your attention in every single frame that he is in, through all the minor acting he's doing, with his just facial expressions, with his voicing, that laugh, whenever he does that literally uncontrollable laugh, it is amazing. He dances a lot, and I don't mind the dance. He does, a lot of physical performance in this role. So acting gets a 9.5 out of 10. That's not too directing. I think one of Todd Phillips' greatest strengths in this movie is his ability to create tension and hold that tension and then just completely kind of break it and build even more tension after that. And this film is beautifully shot, every single frame. I also love how he uses frames all throughout the movie. He'll use kind of the same location and juxtapose that at a different time in the Joker's journey here, to really just show how much his character has changed. There's one scene in particular towards the end of the film that I just freaking loved. It was just so beautiful, but also at the same time haunting, and that just really describes this film. The score in this film was a character in of itself. It was daunting. It kind of reminded me of like Game of Thrones and that one scene where you couldn't see what was happening. The music was just so melancholy. So directing gets a 9 out of 10. That brings the weighted average score to a 7.9 out of 10. If I consider it to be a superhero movie, which this is far more like a drama than a superhero film, when it comes to drama, it will get an 8.1 out of 10. If you've seen the film, let me know who you think is the best Joker between Leto and Phoenix and whoever else. If you like this video, please like, comment, consider subscribing, and sincerely, thank you for watching. I'm out.